2026 to order. We please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you everyone for attending. We have one item on the agenda tonight. I'm going to go ahead and get started with that agenda item, and then we will move into some discussion. So I'm going to make a motion, be it hereby resolved by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to enter into the attached annexation agreement with the City of Canton effective July 14, 2026, or the earliest date permitted by law.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. You can take your pick as to who seconded that.
Okay.
I think there's a sense of excitement in the room. So we have a motion. So roll call.
Discussion.
Oh, sorry. I'm changing things up a little bit.
You are excited to get to the phase.
I know, he's like,
Right.
let's get to roll.
So, during the discussion portion, usually it's the board that does the discussion. But because this is a really special moment for us, because we've never actually sat down to formally do anything with another community. So for us, it is a special occasion. So what I would like to do, if it's okay with you guys, would be to open the discussion up, that we hear from the mayor, John, and Mr. Mario, and the commissioner, because I truly believe they're all going to have positive things to say. We'd like to get them on record, and then we'll take our turns and get to the vote. So, Mayor, do you want to go first?
I will say this is a truly, and I agree with you, John, this is a truly special moment that this is the model and the testament of how communities can work together. There is no doubt about that. And, when you think about the threat of everything that's out there, whether it's property taxes or this or that or whatever, that both communities can truly move forward. And I gotta give a huge shout out to Lisa, I do, and you guys, all three trustees. Obviously, there's a lot of agreements that were way back in the day that could have been drawn up a lot better. There's no doubt about that. But I firmly agree that this agreement is going to benefit both communities. And that, guys, I just can't thank you enough. So.
Anyone else? John?
I'm John Merrill, City Council for Canton. Very excited to get this agreement signed. Council will be voting on it in, I think, 2 weeks, maybe?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yep. And I think it's going to be a great thing for economic development for both communities, and we're excited to enter into this partnership with you guys.
Thank you. John?
Thanks everybody for having me. John Hyman, Director of Public Service, City of Canton. I think that my takeaway from this and kind of what being recorded, what I'd like the public to know is, sometimes in the media and in the heat of the public sphere, I think people only see kind of like the debate and the back and forth and the negative. The reality is from my perspective as service director for the city, is this is nothing more than a continuation of the positive relationship that Canton and Plain has had for years. I know, Drew, it goes without saying, like our road folks and Plain road folks always get along fantastically. I know we feel the same way about Plain zoning, and obviously Mary mentioned Lisa, it goes without saying. So I think that all those, sometimes there may be disagreements amongst neighbors, just like there are amongst brothers and sisters and mothers and sons. We always come together and we figure it out, and that's always been the case. And so I think that is, my big takeaway is, the thing that we're all here for is how can we work together, how can we have good government. I think this is representative of that. But I think what I would want the folks to know is that it's always been the case. That's always been how we've worked together, and nothing's changed. And the plan moving forward is to figure out how we can continue that. So, I can't thank everybody enough, not just for today, but for the ongoing relationship that we have with the township. It is, from my perspective, always been positive. So we thank you guys, and it goes with, obviously it starts with good leadership. So thank you all for having us.
Thank you. Commissioner?
Thank you for the invitation to be here, first and foremost. And, our office didn't have any formal role in this other than for a lot of the reasons that the mayor and the board and others have echoed here tonight. You know, the lines are important for different reasons to us in the way that we deliver service, but they're really invisible to the residents because the residents just want that service. They want the assurance that we as elected officials, no matter where we're at, are gonna respond in their best interest. And this agreement really does that. It gives assurances to citizens in both communities, and it really, I think from my perspective, sets the model and the tone for how other agreements will hopefully fall into place. So thank you really to both sides for the very professional way that you have approached this. And again, and I'll echo one shout out to thank you to Lisa. I live in Plain Township. I think Plain Township is remarkably run, and she's a great administrator that does a good job in that regard. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
All right, I just want to say, first off, we are very fortunate to have Lisa, and I appreciate all the work she did to get this going and work with the city of Canton. We appreciate the city of Canton having the willingness and openness to work with us, and the communications was excellent. I mean, it was, you know, we tweaked everything. We always wanted what's best for both of our residents and our communities and the growth of our communities, and we see that with this agreement that is going to be signed. And you know, annexations and stuff like that is contentious and people get upset about it, but this collaboration does demonstrate the willingness of both sides to work together and how we can come to an agreement. And it doesn't have to be nasty, it doesn't have to be a lot of fighting, it's just the willingness to sit down and talk and have the open discussion. And I couldn't have said anything better than what the commissioner said, what you said, what John said, that we are very thankful and willing, with the willingness of you guys. I mean,
Brooke, I'll say this, it's a template. It is a template of how communities can move forward together. There's no doubt about that. So, just kidding.
Honestly, letting actions speak louder than our words. Just speaking to the contract as a whole, I think it truly is a win-win. I don't see a single win-lose proposition into this. I think we're the most responsible facet of this is a 25-year term, honestly. Because I can tell you from the early days as trustee, be like, oh, if we can get a 50, 75, or 100-year, that's lunacy. That would be like us putting a levy on it for forever, to where the residents never get to check it or gauge. So to your point, Mayor, you know, we talk about these former agreements and so forth. We lose context of some of that over time, and then how evolution happens within the development of communities. Some of the agreements, quite frankly, may no longer be beneficial to both parties. So 25 years is a good track record to reasonably check in, because I think anything less than that would be irresponsible and so forth. So I think it's a testament there. I think probably one of the best things we've seen done in this, I mean, certainly council and supporting the mayor, but as well the board and supporting Lisa. The theme I know we talked about quite a bit was, listen, the media is going to put certain things out there, whether it's in the full context or not, and then we're going to read it and go, what in the? And the best thing we said was, you know what, read the headline. You can read the headlines, but let's agree that when we're together, we may disagree on some points. We did that, and we hammered out. We didn't just hammer out a good agreement. We did it in relatively quick time as compared to, I remember when one of our former trustees, who's now on council, had worked on one of the agreements under a former mayor. It took forever and a day, and that was probably one of those ones that wasn't the greatest. But again, it's the rallying to come together. I think the strongest thing the media needs to take note of and publish, Robert, is the preservation of residential property rights, that's a significant concern. I know there's an individual sitting out here in the crowd right now that was one of those individuals, you know, to go from, oh my God, I gotta put my house up for sale, here's another variable. The whole, hey, if it's under 4 units, that was an easy, that was not a sticking point. So we can bring peace of mind to our residents, and I think, again, this is a good stepping stone to, one, consolidate any existing agreements. It makes it easier from an administrative, you know, application and enforcement. But as well, what are other steps that we may be able to take outside of this moving forward? So, you know, my thing's always been, and I see it's on John's sheet as well, but leadership by action. Don't tell me, show me, and both communities are doing that here.
Thanks. It's pretty obvious I'm the elder statesman in the room. So I have been around for a while, and I will tell you, in 1968, on the Plain Township Fire Department, the first fire I ever went on was on Gardendale Avenue Northeast in Plain Township, which is now Gardendale Avenue in Kansas City, because 2 weeks after I went on that call, it was annexed into the city of Canton. It was the first time I ever heard of annexation. Didn't understand it, didn't even care about it at the time. But being connected with the fire department in the township for all that time, I realized that it is an issue that, to me, sometimes just didn't make sense, because it was one of those things where, you know, if people with common goals could just sit down and have discussions and look at these types of things, we're better together as we are separate. And there are so many things that I looked at from then until now that some were very bad and some were good. But I can honestly say this agreement, there's nothing bad about this agreement. This agreement, when you look at it, takes all those things into consideration that we as government officials, and I don't care whether we're working with the county, city to township, whatever the case might be, you're talking cooperation and you're talking collaboration and you're talking compromise. I mean, let's face it, there are a certain amount of things that we are all elected to be leaders, not politicians. In reality, the people elect us because they want us to do what's best for them. They're thinking in terms of when they vote for us, they want us to be thinking about the safety and welfare, fiscal responsibility, service, quality of life, all those types of things that our decisions in how we look at those issues are a part of what's going to translate back to them. So this agreement I see to be win-win for everybody, not just the city of Canton or Plain Township residents. There are going to be other townships that are going to be looking at this, and they're going to say, whoa, wait a minute, how'd they do that? Well, I'll tell you how we did it. We just thought, hey, look, let's get together. Let's get with all these people that we have thanked, that we can't thank enough, by the way. Lisa, you know that. Mayor, you know that. You guys literally sat down, and the first thing that came together was a trust. You trusted that whatever she was going to say, you trusted whatever he was going to say. Now, you may have a different angle because obviously you have some interest that you have to protect for your citizens as well as what we do. So there's no bad that comes out of this contract. And, you know, I just see it as a win-win, even when you look at the housing market. We all know about that study within, and it's not just Stark County, it's everywhere. So we have a housing problem that now there's going to be peace of mind by our residents to say, hey, I know I have faith in whether I buy a house or sell a house, but in addition to that, there's going to be development. And we're going to look at that development now, as you guys are going to look at by, you know, if you choose to extend water lines, obviously those people are going to be happy because they're going to have water, they're going to pay outside rates, but we all know what the ramifications are not going to be negatively because of this agreement. So, like Scott said, he stole it off of me, but that's okay. I truly think this is leadership by action, not rhetoric. And this is big. On Friday, I just attended the Ohio Township Association County Officers Meeting. So there were probably 75 people at that meeting. And I heard horror stories about contentiousness and fighting and how they can't get along. And let's face it, as you said, our fire chiefs, Canton's Fire Department and Plains Fire Department, got together and worked out a mutual aid plan, and we didn't have anything to do with it. And that's because they knew what was best for the people that they were serving, and all we did was say, have at it, and we'll give you the equipment or whatever you need to execute it. Road department's gonna be the same, well, it is the same way. So it just makes sense. When you have a street that's half and half, okay, we're gonna plow half of it and the other side is not gonna be plowed. That makes no sense.
There have been a few streets that have been over-salted over the years.
We talked about that.
As it turns out, I
If
think
I was a
we saw it.
conservative resident, I'd be out there sweeping it up to use in my driveway. Yeah, so, no, you're right. So, I just think these are all things that are so positive. And I just think, Mayor, as you said, it could easily be a model. There are gonna be people that are gonna say, well, how did you do it? And we're just gonna say back, it just made sense, but we had the right people in the right place on both sides to recognize it and sometimes take the heat from our residents who all believe that they know best and don't understand the efficiency of running that government and providing those services. So, I mean, you can't afford 10 $1.5 million ladder trucks, and we can't afford $5.5 million ladder trucks. But you get one of those low frequency, high risk situations where you need additional ladder trucks, you're gonna get one from us. No questions asked, automatically, and we know we're gonna be able to do the same thing. So again, there's so many positive things. I'm kind of a hopeless romantic when it comes to relationships. I personally believe that relationships are important in every facet of our operation. And Commissioner, I will say this, we have seen over the years with my experience that I've been out in my previous position as the Ohio Fire Chiefs Emergency Response Plan, that's a state mutual aid system. I would go to every disaster in the state, and I can tell you there are counties that are so dysfunctional, I can't even believe it. And we don't have that in our county. So we don't have it at the county level, we no longer have it at our level, and I know I'm rambling a lot, but I sincerely am passionate about this because this may rank up there with one of the top 5 things that I've ever been involved in from a government standpoint. So.
Mr. Chairman, I got one request.
Oh, absolutely.
Not that I want you to say a few words, but at least I just gotta give you a shout out.
Thank you.
You want to say
And
something?
it's not that we've known each other for probably 30, 40 years and stuff
Yeah.
like that, which we have, you know.
Yeah.
And total, nothing but love and respect for your family.
Thank you.
But, you know, look, when we realized that it wasn't even about an impasse, that we were, and when I called you that night, I said, look, we need to get together and we need to sit down and have a conversation. But this is where we're at. You know?
In the conversation, we sat down at the table with respect and trust, and we left every time at the table with respect and trust. And this, honestly, for as massive and how great it is, was easy to do. It was easy.
I wish they were all that.
Yeah, this was easy. So thank you to you.
Thank you also, Lisa.
Now, you will be, council will be looking at this on, is it the 13th?
Yeah, July 13th. Yeah.
And we would be allowed.
Oh, I
absolutely.
know, I want you guys to
Oh,
go.
I
No,
think I'll
this
definitely
is,
be there.
Yeah.
this is mutual, not so much mutual aid, but,
Yeah.
you know, but,
Perfect.
no, we want you guys to be there.
We're very, and we're very excited to pass this.
And I'll be in
cement
Florida,
this
you
relationship.
don't want a Zoom call from me on the beach while you're.
Yeah, we could stream in live.
Yeah, you don't wanna do that. But we are gonna, after they get all the signing, I wanna make sure you leave with 2 copies, so then you can sign it and then just return the cover.
That would be great.
Anything else by anyone? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. I will make a motion to adjourn at 6:20 PM.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Short